Moving on now, amid uncertainty across West Asia and continuing crude oil supply concerns, the centre has decided to slash excise duty on blended petrol with higher levels of ethanol. Simply put, there won't be any excise duty on petrol containing 22% to 30% ethanol. The exemption covers blends including E22, 25, 27 and E30. This relief comes days after government's approval of standards for ethanol-blended petrol containing up to 30% ethanol, paving way for the commercial adoption of higher blend fuels. National policy of biofuels was, remember, introduced in 2018 and then amended in 2022. It advanced the target of achieving 20% ethanol blending in petrol from 2030 to ethanol supply 25-26. Oil marketing companies managed to achieve 10% blending by June 2022. In fact, India in April began nationwide supply of ethanol-blended petrol with up to 20% ethanol content. This move won't lead to any reduction in regular petrol prices. The idea is only to encourage adoption of cleaner fuels and reduce dependence on crude oil imports. So let's understand the reasons for this duty exemption. This move would help in the adoption of cleaner fuel across the country, which is also a significant clean energy push amid the rising levels of pollution across the entire country. The move would also help reduce India's dependence on crude oil imports, as India currently imports in excess of 80% of its crude oil requirements. The move would further boost India's biofuel program and help India meet its energy security goals amid rising energy demands in a growing economy. This will further help lower fossil fuel consumption. But when it comes to ethanol blends, there are several variants on offer. Let's in fact remind you, as of now, most vehicles in India are not capable of using ethanol-blended fuels. While most new vehicles sold in India today are engineered and certified for E20 fuel, the number of such vehicles is still small. It's a small fraction on Indian roads today. But here are some of the blends that will now be available duty-free, which could give some benefit for consumers who have E20 compliant vehicles. Let's talk about them. So what's an E22 blend? Something that has 22% ethanol plus 78% petrol. And this is the current status. It's going to be duty-free. What's duty-free? From E22 to E30, not the price of regular petrol. What is the E25 blend? It's 25% ethanol plus 75% petrol. Let's take a look at what the E27 blend. It comprises of 27% ethanol and 73% petrol. And the E30 blend has 30% ethanol and 70% petrol. Now, the centre has made some progress when it comes to ethanol blending, and the government is now pushing for a rapid rollout of E20 fuel. Let's tell you a bit about how E20 fuel has benefited the Indian government and also our farmers. So, here's a breakdown of that. 20% ethanol blending has been achieved. So, how much does that really save? $19.3 billion. And there's $15 billion direct payments to farmers. So, both the government and the farmers have benefited from this move. This, of course, is data as of 2025. But there is still a long way to go for India. There are several countries that have made huge steps. They've taken huge steps forward when it comes to ethanol blending. Is it time for India to take a cue from these nations? Let's break down the details of what really are we talking about and which are the countries here. Brazil, flex fuel accounts for 85% of vehicle sales in Brazil. As far as United States is concerned, over 95% of petrol sold is of the E10 variant. And E15 is available only 10% at 10% of fuel stations. So E15 is also available, although it's very limited. As far as Europe is concerned, E10 standard in France, Germany and United Kingdom as well. So these are countries that are already experimenting with blended fuel. But ethanol rollout hasn't been smooth. After nationwide rollout of E20, concerns were raised about vehicle compatibility, fuel efficiency and engine performance. So let's take you through concerns and how the government or the experts have responded to those concerns. Number one, vehicle compatibility and fuel efficiency. Now the government has responded to that, saying not a single case of vehicle breakdown has been reported when it comes to compatibility and fuel efficiency. Let's take a look at concern number two. It can impact mileage in older vehicles. Government says Brazil already has been using E27 for years and there have been no issues. And we also gave you data on how other countries are also experimenting with this model. Let's see if the government has reduced excise duty, whether or not that helps us reduce our dependency on crude oil import and, push for clean energy. Is it adaptable and adoptable or not remains to be seen. With that, that's a goodbye from my end. That's all we could pack for you in Briefing Room. Take care. Good night. See you tomorrow.